Hi, welcome to another episode here on Creepy with Coffee. I'm Kim. Tonight's episode is going to be telling you about why sometimes shortcuts it's not a good idea. Well, this story came from an anonymous sender. What's supposed to be a fun night turns out to be the most terrifying nights ever for this particular sender. Well, if you have yet to subscribe to the channel, I would appreciate it if you do push on the like button, notification button, and also if you have a bit of time on your hand, please do consider commenting in the comment section down below. Please do leave nice words. Well, let's get on to the story.
This is Creepy with Coffee.
Hello listeners, tonight I have a spine-chilling experience to share. One that happened to me and my co-workers after a casual night out. What started as a fun celebration ended in one of the most terrifying moments of my life. It all began when my friend invited us for her birthday party at a popular restaurant. The party kicked off around 7:30 p.m. and the energy was high. Partying, drinking, enjoying, eating, singing, and dancing with friends. Some familiar, some strangers. Time flew by, and before we knew it, the clock struck 11 p.m. I was the designated driver for the evening, with two other co-workers riding with me. Connie, who was her usual cheerful, chatty self, and another friend we affectionately call Miss Diva for her dramatic flair. Well, I believe we all have that friend. When I signaled it was time to leave, Connie and I were ready, but Miss Diva was in no hurry. She was busy singing duets with some good-looking guys that she had just met. Even after one last song turned into two turned into four, I bit my tongue and waited, growing more impassioned by the second. Finally, after a lengthy goodbye and promises to meet again, we headed out to our car. Connie volunteered to drive, and I agreed. Well, it was only fair to share the burden of driving. Miss Diva, as expected, sat in the back, glued to her phone, giggling and messaging her new crush from the party. The plan was simple. Head back to my place. All of us head back to my place for the night. Not long into the drive, we hit a roadblock. Well, in Malaysia, we would have something that we call roadblock, whereby police will run checks. Usually, it's during weekend, festival, just to make sure that the drivers are not driving under some influence. Continue to the story. Connie, with her ever-optimistic attitude, suggested a shortcut to bypass the traffic. I had my doubts, but she assured us it was a route that she had used before. Shortcut okay ma, faster home, she said with a smile on her face. For me, with a sigh, I let her take the turn. As we drove deeper into the shortcut, my stomach began to knot. The street lights thinned, and soon we found ourselves on a narrow, winding road. On either side of us lay dense forests, broken only by the eerie sight of Chinese cemetery plots, their white tombstones glowing faintly in the moonlight. I glanced at Connie, who looked a bit unsure herself. I asked with my low voice, "You sure about this?" "Yeah, sure. Just forget which turn to take for exit only ma. 2 years ago I used this road, no problem," Connie replied, her voice sounding like lacking of confidence now. I snapped. 2 years ago? My unease growing. "Connie, are you kidding me right now?" She didn't respond, gripping the wheel tightly as the car crawled along the empty road. The silence was heavy, broken only by Miss Diva's soft chuckles from the back seat as she stayed engrossed in her phone, oblivious to our growing tension. Then, out of nowhere, the car started to slow down. I asked, with my voice tense, "Connie, why are you slowing down?" Connie then replied, "I'm not slowing down. I'm pressing the gas. But the car, it's not moving faster." With her voice raising in panic, that is when it hit us. A foul stench filled the car. A putrid mix of rotting flesh and burning incense. It was so overpowering that we gagged. Then before we could react, the car's back door swung open with a loud bang. The force flung Miss Diva forward, sending her crashing face first into the space between two front seats. Her legs kicking wildly in the air, all three of us screamed. The car filled with panic and chaos. Connie, with eyes wide, started crying hysterically while trying to keep driving. I can't do this," she yelled, covering her eyes with one hand. "Connie, keep your eyes on the road," I shouted, grabbing the steering wheel to keep the car steady. I began reciting every prayer I knew, shouting the names of God for protection as my heart raced. My hands trembled, but I refused to let go of the wheel. Miss Diva, who had been knocked unconscious during the commotion, lay limp in the back seat. I reached out with one hand, shaking her shoulder, but she was ice cold to the touch. Just when I thought it couldn't get worse, the stench grew stronger and stronger, and the car felt as though it was being pulled backward by some invisible force. The air turned oppressive, heavy with something dark and sinister. In the rearview mirror, I caught a fleeting glimpse of a shadow, a figure standing motionless in the middle of the road, its face obscured by darkness. My voice grew louder as I recited prayers. "Keep driving, Connie, don't stop for anything," I yelled, gripping the steering wheel tighter. Somehow, my frantic prayers worked. The heaviness began to lift, and the car surged forward, and the stench vanished as suddenly as it had come. Connie opened her eyes, blinking in shock, and hit the accelerator. "We are getting out of here now," she said, her voice shaking. After what felt like eternity, we finally found the main road. We pulled over, trying to catch our breath. Miss Diva stirred, slowly regaining consciousness. Her face was pale, her lips trembling. What happened?" she whispered, her voice weak. That night, we didn't speak much. We all returned to my house, too shaken to even go home alone. It wasn't until we were safe in my room that I finally let loose on Connie. "This is all your fault. If it weren't for your stupid shortcut, we would be home hours ago." Connie, clearly still terrified, didn't fight back. "I never take that road again. Never." Even now, years later, the memory of the shortcut through the cemetery still haunts me. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this: some roads are better left untraveled. Well, listeners, what do you think of the stories? Have you taken shortcuts before? I'm sure a lot of us have. Stories like this, probably not everybody. Well, if you have traveled a shortcut and you have experienced something as terrifying as this person, my email is just down below. I would love to hear from you. Once again, if you have yet to subscribe, remember to do so. And looking forward for your comment in the comment section down below. This is Kim, Creepy with Coffee. Until the next episode.